I'm pleased to welcome Stephen Mahone, the Deputy Director of Networks and Head of Scotland Ofgem, and Jack Presley-Abbott, Deputy Director for Energy Systems Management and Security Ofgem. Thank you for accepting our invitation, and we're delighted to have you both here. Before we start, I believe, Stephen, you would like to make an opening statement.
Yeah, good morning, Convener and committee members, and thanks for inviting us to give evidence this morning. I think, as you said in your introduction, I'm Steve McMahon. I'm head of Ofgem's office in Scotland, but I'm also the Deputy Director that leads much of our work on electricity network regulation. I'm joined by my colleague Jack Presley-Abbott, who's also a Deputy Director based in our Glasgow office, and Jack oversees much of our work on connections policy and market design. Now, taking a step back, the IPCC report that was published last week concluded that swift and drastic climate action only swift and drastic climate action can avert irrevocable damage to the world. The report runs to thousands of pages, as you'll be aware, but the message is crystal clear. Either we act now or it will be too late. The evidence has never been as clear as at present, and we need truly transformational and accelerated action across every sector, including energy. Now, given what's unfolded across the energy sector, particularly over the last couple of years, not least following events in Ukraine, alongside ambitious government targets for renewables and other forms of generation, we already knew that we needed to accelerate the shift away from fossil fuels to clean energy. That will help to reduce costs to customers by breaking the link between electricity bills and gas prices. It protects our security of supply, and it provides secure and reliable homegrown energy. And it helps to protect the customers from the dangers of unmitigated climate change. So basically, we're at the cusp of a transformational shift in the energy system, probably the biggest changes that anyone involved in the sector will have ever seen. As the economic regulator of that energy sector, with a responsibility to protect consumers and representing their long-term interests, this is a big change to the environment in which we operate. We need to act at pace to enable cost-effective infrastructure investment to transition away from our high dependence on fossil fuels and deliver a homegrown, cheaper and more secure net-zero energy system. So over the next 10 to 20 years in particular, that's going to require an immense amount of investment in new network infrastructure that needs to be built in a coordinated way across generation and demand, built both at pace but also at a reasonable cost. That's the defining challenge that I think we face. Ensuring our regulation helps this infrastructure to be built as rapidly and efficiently as possible, so that when the wind farms right down to electric vehicles are ready to connect onto the system, the grid capacity is already in place, made possible with accelerated planning, environmental consents and network companies incentivised to deliver on time. The committee's call for evidence specifically poses the question about whether the electricity infrastructure is an inhibitor or an enabler of Scotland's energy ambitions. Our response is that it must be an enabler, and everything that we are doing is geared around ensuring that our economic regulation can help build the system we need at pace, but in a way that protects energy consumers both now and in the future. Thank you.